While we're waiting, if we could just make sure we have the Zoom link up and running for our other presenter, so there are no hiccups when we get started. And literally, we have a 3-minute warning. So like I said, call a friend, text a friend, let them know we're about to begin.
I thought she was just, pulling my leg. So she got me making me pinch. It's just, I can't see from it. Was the seam one that dragged on that down so hard?
I've been here every day. I'm thankful to be a moderator at this session. I presented on Saturday, and these have been riveting sessions where we've been learning and collaborating, and so I look forward for the rest of the week. Okay. Okay, true to my word, I'm a woman that likes to stick to time, and I see y'all did do some texting. I see we have more members that showed up. So let's just have a brief show of hands. How many people utilize AI today? I just mean today. Yeah. No, y'all didn't look up one thing today. Okay. How many people utilize AI on a regular basis?
That's just a neat.
Regular is you use AI at least once a week.
My AI is actual intelligence.
Yeah. Okay. How many people in this room don't use AI at all?
It's not possible because it's going to open up a
How many people know what AI is? Okay, I just want to make sure. So I have the distinguished pleasure of being the moderator for this session. Those of you who do not know me may not have been around for the other days because I think I made myself known to almost everyone, but I will reintroduce myself. My name is Senator the Honorable Dr. Eresia Hepburn Forbes, and I am from the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. And we've already established it's better in the Bahamas. And we thank you, all of you, for being here. And we're excited to have this program now under the theme. Let me make sure I could read it properly. Parliamentarians' role in countering misinformation and regulating emerging digital technologies, including artificial intelligence, AI. So our first speaker is my colleague in the Senate, Senator Michaela E. Barnett Ellis. She's an accomplished attorney and committed public servant, recognized for her leadership in both the legal profession and national governance. She was called to the Bar of England and Wales and the Bahamas Bar in 2007. She has built a distinguished career and rose to become a partner in the litigation department of Graham Thomson. Her practice spans civic and public law with extensive experience in litigation, contracts, employment, personal injury, and statutory interpretation. She has served in significant leadership roles, including as a board member of the National Insurance Board from 2017 to 2021, where she chaired the Building and Contracts Committee and the Operations Committee, and as honorary secretary to the Bahamas Bar Association. She currently serves as deputy chairman of the Parliamentary Human Rights Committee. Her professional experience has excelled and been recognized internationally as she was named to the City Wealth IFC Power Women Top 200 list for 3 consecutive years, highlighting her global influence in law and leadership. Beyond her professional career, Senator Barnett Ellis is deeply committed to community service. She's an active member of the Zeta Phi Beta Sorority Incorporated and has volunteered with the Bahamas AIDS Foundation for more than a decade. As an F&M senator, she is committed to advancing a progressive vision for the Bahamas, one that champions human rights, strengthens public institutions, and expands opportunities for all. Let us put our hands together for Senator Michaela Barnett Ellis.
You know, every time I hear a bio, I always pause. I'm like, is that really me? Because that seems like a lot. Good afternoon, everybody, and thank you for coming out. I know the post-lunch fatigue is real, but I promise to keep it interesting. So I have to say that it is both an honor and actually a curious assignment for me to be speaking to you about artificial intelligence and Parliament. Curious because my own relationship with AI is probably not that much different than any one of you. I'm an attorney at law, as Senator Hepburn Forbes says, and I've been a lawyer for almost 20 years. Any other attorneys in the room? A couple? Yeah? Okay. Then you guys might have the same experience as me. So for the last 5 years, article after article has confidently declared that lawyers are going to be amongst the first professions to be made obsolete by AI. And I gotta say, when people say it, they seem to have like a twinkle or glimmer in their eye. They're so excited that the world will be rid of lawyers. But, you know, since law is how I make my living, how I feed my child, the thought of the profession becoming obsolete is, well, not so comforting for me. So last year, I attended a presentation on the future of AI, and I have to say, it sparked my curiosity. And then earlier this year, I had the privilege of moderating a session with Dr. Helen Papagiannis, who is an internationally respected AI and innovation speaker. And she played this game in the room called Real or AI. And she showed us several photos, videos, commercials, and the room had to guess whether they were real, whether they were genuine, or whether they were AI created. And I can tell you, it was hard to tell the difference. She put up a music video of a woman singing in a nightclub, and I was like, no, that is real. You see the sweat on the people's faces. That was very much AI generated. It was scary. But that moment drove home for me how transformative but dangerous this technology could be. So then, of course, you know, we go to these seminars and we're like, okay, I'm going to try it at home. So I downloaded my ChatGPT. And then, of course, Microsoft has Copilot and Google has Gemini. And I started to play with them. And initially, I treated them like search engines, right? Because what else would you do with these things? But then I quickly learned that what you input into the program matters. I asked it a question, and I forgot to mention that, I asked him a question about the Pope, but I had forgot to mention that Pope Francis had passed. And the answer AI gave me, it gave me an answer as if Pope Francis was still alive. And then I put in the chat, he passed away on such and such a date, and ChatGPT said, my bad, so sorry, and then redrafted the answer. But I started to realize how this AI thing, how it works. And fortunately for me, I knew that the answer that it gave me was wrong. But imagine if I hadn't. And that's one of the greatest challenges about AI, is because it doesn't necessarily fact check itself. We recently had a very public case in the Bahamas where an attorney submitted legal arguments generated by ChatGPT, complete with references to cases, except those cases did not exist. AI just created them. And apparently this is called ghost cases. This is a real thing. And it was opposing counsel that exposed that the cases in the submissions were not actually real. And as a result of that, the matter was actually referred to the Ethics Committee of the Bar Association because the attorney sought to mislead the court by relying on these cases that don't exist. And it was really embarrassing, particularly because the attorney was named in the ruling. But it was a vivid warning about what reckless reliance on AI could do. It could create mischief, and that could have very real consequences. And if this could happen in the courtroom, imagine the implications for politics, imagine the implications for Parliament. So in the Bahamas, you may or may not know from the opening that we are in an election year. And in the Bahamas, an election year could be 18 months long, right? And one of the fears or one of the murmurs you're hearing around is, oh, AI is going to play a serious role in this election. And the immediate assumption is that it's going to have a negative consequence, that it's going to be used for mischief, rather than, we're going to use AI to interpret previous election results and see trends and look at population growth. The initial assumption is, that first assumption is, that AI is going to be used for mischief. And I'm sure it's so in the Bahamas and probably in many of your jurisdictions that our statute laws have not caught up to where technology is going, neither on the criminal side or on the civil side. And so there is this gap. We have emerging technology, but we don't have the guardrails to protect our society from it. And I think that's where the Parliament's role becomes critical. I believe that our responsibility as parliamentarians is threefold. First, we must act as a shield. And that means enacting legislation that regulates emerging technologies responsibly. Laws that guard privacy, codify ethical use, and hold governments and corporations accountable. And in this electoral age, laws must shield our democratic processes from manipulation and protect citizens from the coercive effects from disinformation. If we fail to build this protection, the very foundation of trust in our democracy is at risk. Second, we must demand transparency. These algorithms that shape what we see online and the way data is collected and handled and the deployment of AI systems should never be shrouded in secrecy. As parliamentarians, we need to ensure that they are subject to the scrutiny and accountability just as any other powerful force in society would be. And thirdly, we must serve as the voice of our citizens. This means listening to civil society, academia, the private sector, and most importantly, our young people, because they're the ones often exposed to the risks of digital technologies. But also, I find that they tend to be the most creative minds in harnessing the potential of AI. If we fail to include them in the conversation, we may miss vital insights into the future, and it's the future that we are really legislating for. But let me stress, we're not only supposed to be a shield, but we're also supposed to be a spare. Because although AI has the potential to be a threat, it also holds enormous promise. In Parliament itself, AI could generate accurate transcripts of our proceedings in real time, making our debates more transparent, searchable, and accessible to citizens. In healthcare, AI is already assisting doctors in diagnosing illnesses, analyzing data faster than any human team, and identifying public health trends before they even become crisis. In education, AI could expand to access knowledge, giving students in remote communities, and if you're like the Bahamas, we have 700 islands and keys, giving students in remote communities the same learning tools as those in our major islands. And yes, even in my own profession, of course now, AI is never going to replace what I could do in court. But it could streamline research, but it could streamline research and make things more efficient. And I'll be honest, if AI was really good, it could get those outstanding bills paid, yes?
Amen.
Amen. But to unlock the benefits of AI, we must make sure that we have the guardrails. That is, the robust legislation, ethical frameworks that enable innovation while protecting the public good. Colleagues, this is not a challenge that any one nation can face alone. Misinformation and AI misuse does not respect borders. And that's why organizations like the Commonwealth Parliamentary Association are so important. Because here we can share best practices, compare legislative approaches, and commit to common principles of transparency, accountability, and protection of human dignity in this digital age. As I wrap up, artificial intelligence will not replace parliamentarians, but parliamentarians who fail to understand, regulate, and harness AI could very well be replaced by irrelevance. Our duty is clear. We must be the shield, protecting our democracies, our citizens, and our elections from the harms of misinformation, disinformation, and reckless use of AI. But we also must be that spear, guiding innovation responsibly, ensuring that the benefits of those technologies are directed towards better healthcare, stronger education, and more efficient governance, and a more inclusive digital future. And perhaps most importantly, though, we must engage our citizens, building digital literacy, raising awareness, and empowering people to question what they see online is every bit as vital as the laws that we pass. Because no legislation will ever be stronger than an informed and vigilant people. As the guardians of democracy in the Commonwealth, we cannot afford to lag behind. We must legislate wisely, oversee fearlessly, and engage our citizens openly. So let us go forth, defending what is precious, guiding what is possible, and ensuring that our people are equipped to thrive in this digital era. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Senator Barnett Ellis. I just want to make sure, IT, that we have our second speaker up and running on the Zoom, because what would a whole technology discussion be without utilizing some technology? But in the meantime, while I give our media department a chance to get that organized, you know, everybody, if you didn't know before, you didn't hear me say this several times, I'm also associate professor. So I have a question for y'all before y'all come asking questions. Can anybody tell me the 3 tenets that Senator Barnett indicated that we needed to be as parliamentarians? I have a prize. Nobody taking me on? No? Okay, come. See, this way I assure y'all awake after the lunch. I came prepared.
I wrote them. Testing. Good afternoon, everyone. Lenny Blanchett, St. Kitts Nevis. I wrote them down because I thought that they were quite interesting.
That counts.
And I said I needed to take note. So parliaments have 3 roles. Firstly, to act as a shield. Secondly, to demand transparency. And thirdly, to serve as a voice to our citizens.
Give her a round of applause and feel free to come for your prize. Or you could collect it. You could collect it now or at the end. You want it now? Oh, okay. He will take it for you. Yeah. Yes. Okay, so I see that we're up on the Zoom. We're going to utilize technology. Please indicate if you need us to move to the left or right so you can see our next speaker. Okay, I just want to make sure. I didn't want to turn around. So I have the privilege and distinct pleasure of introducing the Speaker of the House of Representatives for the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago. On May 23rd, 2025, Speaker Jadago Singh was elected as the Speaker of the House of Representatives of the 13th Republican Parliament of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago. The Speaker is considered the guardian of the privileges and rules of the members of the House of Representatives. The Speaker also serves as the Chairman of the Public Administration and Appropriations Committee, which scrutinizes government expenditure in accordance with previous parliamentary approval. Prior to the Honorable Speaker's entry into parliamentary service, Speaker Singh was recognized as a preeminent legal practitioner in the Trinidad and Tobago chambers. In his capacity as a senior attorney at law and heads of Fortis chambers, he has successfully litigated all matters at the courts of the judicial system, including the Judicial Committee of the Privy Council. With an average of 36 years as a legal practitioner, Speaker Singh has acted as counsel in a wide array of cases, including complex commercial litigation, public law, criminal law, and all other types of multifaceted litigations. Speaker Singh also serves as a counsel in 3 major national inquiries, namely the CLECO Commission of Inquiry, the Commission of Inquiry into the 1990 attempted coup, and the Las Ultras Towers construction inquiry. Speaker Singh was also a member of the Trinidad and Tobago Law Reform Commission for 6 consecutive years, spanning 2011 to 2017, where he advanced the legislative improvements. Please put your hands together, virtually or otherwise, for Speaker Singh. Speaker Singh, I don't know if you could hear us, but we cannot hear you. Is the volume connected on our end? See, we have 2 lawyers discussing AI. We probably needed an IT person. Let's try on your end, Speaker Singh, because clearly you could hear us. And it shows you talking on my screen. Just double check from your end to make sure you're not muted. Okay. So while we allow them to work on the technical difficulties, the joy, you know how we go as teachers, I could talk about some more stuff. Yeah, that's the way it have to be. We can't leave you without having any kind of accountability. So does anybody have any questions for Senator Barnett Ellis? In the meantime, we'll go to her questions until we get Speaker Singh on the Zoom. Now listen, every other session, you all had 30 people with questions. You all don't want me just to ask all questions because I do a whole notebook of questions. Okay, here we go.
Good afternoon, Speaker George Massicat from BVI. Just a question, where is the Bahamas when it comes to perhaps AI regulation? Is that something that is being considered in Parliament?
So right now, we don't have any legislation that specifically deals with AI technology. We are about to, or they, as I'm in opposition, they are about to table some new data protection legislation that will provide us with some stronger privacy matters. But in terms of cyber crimes, that's an area for us in which we need updated legislation on.
Go. You could piggyback on it as a information guru, Mr. Watson.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair. Firstly, I'm a techno-politician. I want to make that clear. Now, I was saying that I'm a techno-politician, in case you haven't heard it before. The government of the Bahamas, Wade Watson, the Member of Parliament for the Baines and Grandson constituency and the Parliamentary Secretary in the Ministry of Economic Affairs, with responsibility for digitalization in the government. So we have tabled a policy and spoken to a policy in Parliament with respect to artificial intelligence. Our cybersecurity platform is well robust. As a matter of fact, we have implemented a national cert here in the Bahamas, and that's up and going. And we have also implemented a national cybersecurity strategy, which takes into full consideration the technology, or what we consider to be emerging technologies as it relates to ICT. So we are making some strides in that regard. We are currently putting together a formal policy that we will present and have tabled in Parliament shortly on AI.
Now, based on what you just explained, is this something that the Bahamas Parliament perhaps would be willing to share with the conference? So perhaps some of us, the smaller territories, could perhaps piggyback.
Well, I don't think that's an issue. I'm certain that we're all about collaboration. But as it gets to that level, then those persons responsible for disseminating the information will more than likely do so.
And that's definitely something I think we want to take away from this conference in particular. I think the mantra has been called from Saturday up to today that the whole purpose of this conference is for us to ensure that we continue to have collaborative ties. I hope by the end of the conference, the persons in charge, I don't want to put CPA or the clerks on the spot, will have all the contact information. So if there was somebody that you met here and you didn't have the opportunity to contact them, or you have a quick question, that you're able to do so. I will say it was definitely effective in the CWP that was earlier this year. Colleagues have reached out to me several times asking questions, and I was able to provide them with not only the information, but somebody, a technocrat from our country, that was able to assist in their ventures. So I know this is something that we will continue. How are we looking IT, or I will segue and make this a whole different type of presentation? Let's think of another question, if there are any. And if you have something that you're doing creatively with AI currently in your jurisdiction that you would like to share with us, because again, this is supposed to be a collaborative session, we'd like to hear from you. Boy, one thing getting you all, I'm picking no
I
full
will
bellies.
ask all the questions then.
Nothing wrong with that. I could give you a prize.
Well, I'll appreciate that. Okay, I know, for example, we have a lot of concerns around deepfake, as well as how AI is probably being used, maybe even against women in politics generally. Is that something that is also being considered within your policy? Because what we have found is lots of women at times, depends on where they are, persons may use that technology to try to keep them in their places, so to speak. And I think this is something that we have to also address when we look at these various policies in terms of protective measures. So I'm just checking to see if that is something that has been considered.
I'm going to defer again to Mr. Watson for the policy, but I will say in general that I think we have a lot of cyber bullies regardless, It's easy to be a keyboard murderer. So it's not the same when you face to face with somebody. This is exactly what it is. So I don't even know in this instance if it's gender specific, because I find that people tend to bully wherever they could bully because they have a keyboard in front of them instead of being in your face. But I'll revert to Mr. Watson, and IT, you just give me a wave if we get on board.
Thank you again. I just want to reiterate and support what is said by the moderator. It wouldn't be gender specific, but I assure you that as we work on the document itself, we'll make certain that, you know, some aspects as it relates to your question will be taken into consideration, but it's not gender related.
Okay, so he's saying that Speaker Singh is up and running. We're going to give him one more time. Hit us with your best shot, IT. Oh, the radio silence.
Hello everyone. Can I get a confirmation that you guys are hearing us? Are you all hearing us now?
Speaker, we have an echo, so I think if you turn off one of your mics, and maybe if we do all do the same in our room, just in case.
Good afternoon. Are you all hearing us now?
Mr. Speaker, I am hearing you and I have been hearing you from the start. I think the problem seemingly is at the conference location. But I'm also now getting a bit of feedback. So there's either another device on the room or another microphone.
I think we'll give it one more try. Now we have an echo in here. Is that on our end? So an AI bot. So it's pretty much an AI bot then. So. Okay. I just want to check with IT because I could wrap up this session. I have a few key points. If we can get Speaker Singh, are we going to try one more time? Because if we cannot, I will do a great wrap-up, as I don't want to hold our members. We do have a dinner this evening that we'd like everybody to be in attendance to. Okay? Yes, yes.
I just wanted to get a sense of how many of our parliaments are digitized, and what platform they are housed on.
Could we
How-
use a mic, please? Sorry.
Well, the mic is on.
Okay.
Are you
now
hearing me?
We can hear you now.
Okay, sorry. So I was asking, how many of us, how many of our parliaments present are digitized, and what platforms are we using for this purpose?
I think we could go around the room. That's a great initiative. We could start with your country, Antigua.
Well, the fact that I'm asking means. just to say that I am aware that Parliamentary
Yes.
is piloting a project in that regard. So that is something we will be exploring. That's as much as I can say right now. Madam, that's as much as I can say. We're still in the antiquated way of recording and transcribing.
I know we are trying to go paperless, but I will refer again to Minister Watson.
Thank you again. We have just initiated a project to digitize all of the documents within the Parliament of the Bahamas. We do have a Hansard system. I don't know if you all have similar, but we do have a Hansard system. But with respect to the documents itself, and we look to, that's phase one. Phase two is to incorporate more technology at the table itself within the Parliament. But the first phase is to digitize as many of the documents as possible and make certain that those documents are available electronically. Second of all, we want to make certain that our debates and all of the documents that are tabled are integrated with the appropriate agencies so that they can be tabled electronically at the Parliament level. But we are hoping that we will finalize the procurement process for the digitization of the documents within Parliament within the next few weeks, and we commence the project as soon as possible. So we're not there yet, but we're moving in that direction.
Any other country would like to comment? Cayman? Oh, sorry, I didn't see your hand.
Hello?
Testing. 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 There we go. Just a comment beyond the digitization. So far we've taken most people in the Caribbean have taken a defensive stand against AI. Yes, it has all of its vices like anything else. But I think one of the things that we have to do is to recognize that AI grows on what it is fed. And so far has been fed by lots of stuff from the north and people who, generally speaking, don't look like us, don't think like us, don't act like us. And I think one of the things that we have to do to make sure that AI is able to take account of our views, our perspectives, our culture, and our reality is to ensure that we put our stuff into cyberspace. And we need to have more of our history, culture, perspectives, facts about our laws and what we do and don't do here. Otherwise, we will get lots of false information about what business can or can't be done in the Caribbean, what we do, what we don't do, etc. So, notwithstanding all of the risk of getting too deep into AI, the other risk is of being recognized as missing, in that nothing about us will show when other folks in the world do their searches. So my simple suggestion really is that we need as far and as fast and as accurate as possible to ensure that we have an influence as a Caribbean civilization, as Comrade Ralph Gonzalez likes to call it, on what the world knows by putting our stuff into cyberspace. Finally, as I'm here, the question of Parliament and digitization. In Barbados, we use a number of digital tools. There is the transcription, speech-to-text transcription. I believe we have recently started to use some AI tools in there. I'm not sure which tool by name. And we don't send out paper documents to our parliamentarians. Everything is all online. And we're obviously seeking to improve our security with respect to cybersecurity. But basically, we are seeking to capitalize on all available tools to make our lives much easier. Thank you very much, Chair.
Okay. I will continue with two more countries who would like to share, Cayman, and then I think it was Abby over there, Tobago. Okay.
In the Cayman Islands, we also have launched e-Parliament, and we utilize ShareFile. I think most who have gone electronic would probably know that it seems to take a while for buy-in, but we're there now where all of the members, and as our speaker mentioned when he presented yesterday, all of our members were provided with a computer. So I think that we'll see the biggest effect of that in the next couple of months as we go into our budget debates, because many of you know the budget documents are massive. As well as our cabinet, we recently, under this new administration, rolled out an e-cabinet. So I'm pretty sure a lot of the civil servants are smiling because preparing for cabinet is much easier now. It's just a matter of creating a share file document. So it does show that if we step out of our comfort zones, it can get a bit easier and better for the environment.
Awesome. Tobago?
Good
Abby?
evening, everyone. Hello, good evening, everyone. At the Tobago House of Assembly Legislature, we have started our digitization process. As a matter of fact, we're about 90% complete. We have also adopted the use of AI for our Hansard transcription. We use TurboScribe, which is text, speech-to-text. It's a speech-to-text platform. So it makes it a lot easier for us to get documents out for fearing and get them back so it could be processed as quickly as possible.
Okay, and Turks and Caicos to round us off?
Hi, good afternoon. Good afternoon, Tracy Parker, clerk to the Parliament, Turks and Caicos Islands. Hello, can you hear me now? Hi, good afternoon, Tracy Parker, clerk to the Parliament, Turks and Caicos Islands. The Turks and Caicos is now using, we have a system, a televex conference system, and that system we outsourced to a company, Slip System, I believe, came in, use the same company, in terms of transcribing and hands-on. The Parliament has gone not paperless, but paperless, and we have now have members with tablets that have all their parliamentary information that they use on a daily basis. And so that tablet is the Fusion Microsoft 365. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So we could see that we're all moving and understanding how much technology plays a role in each of our parliaments. We understand that. And there's a saying that I always like to tell my students, the only thing that is constant in this life is change. That is the reality. So we have to ensure that, I agree with my colleague from Barbados, that we're moving along with the times. If we do not get ahead of misinformation, that is what will be there and discussed. So key takeaways from the talk, I think, that we got from Senator Barnett Ellis and also from all of our colleagues on the floor. We have to ensure that we have media literacy and education. That is any form of training to help us advance with our AI and technology advancement. We have to ensure that we have fact-checking partnerships. So we kind of said it differently, but that is my synopsis of what we take from this. We need to ensure that what is out there, we understand that it is accurate and true, because I tell my students all the time, you can't quote Wikipedia. Anybody could type on that. Who is actually checking the facts? So we need to make sure that anything stated, especially about our parliament, has a fact-checking component. And then we must ensure that we have transparency and accountability mechanisms put in place when utilizing. St. Kitts told us that they have an AI bot. You want to make sure that it's as transparent for your users on the front and back end of the system. So overall, I think we understand as colleagues that the way forward is going to be innovation and technology. I don't know if we are going to be out of jobs anytime soon, but I do think that it's always a tool to enhance us. I remember one of my colleagues, we were having a big debate. She was like, oh, you let your students use AI? Yes. At first, there used to be an argument about students using calculators. I mean, we have to evolve as human beings, and a part of this evolution is the introduction of AI and how we utilize that tool. Senator Barnett Ellis got up and said, you know, she used to use it as a search engine. My boss is talk to AI like an actual personal assistant. She just be like, she has her own name, Sunny. Sunny, what it was about this discussion, and they summarize their notes, give back feedback, give you some kind of interaction. So becoming equipped, being trained and well educated on how to move forward is going to be key for all of our parliaments and all of us. I thank you for your time. Please note, I am letting you out early. Eh? Round of applause for the best session so far, because you're out early. So that means I am giving you time to prepare for my president's dinner this evening. It is going to be right over here at the foyer. You don't have any far walk. You have no excuse. So I'd love to see all of your lovely smiling faces, beautiful personalities, warm bodies over there. I don't know if there's going to be dancing. I could encourage it because some of y'all have some great moves, but I'd like to see everybody at dinner. Agreed? Or I'll lock the doors. Let me try again. Agreed? Okay, great. I have 2 more prizes, but I don't have any questions. Any other questions for anybody in the room, not just for Senator Barnett, myself, anybody in the room? If not, have a great day. You are dismissed. No, I tried.
Yes, yes, the Caribbean way.
Okay, oh no, man, hold on. I love when people come to give me good news. Mr. Rashad Flowers said to let y'all know to come tonight to have a good time. We ain't asking you for no money, so you can get whatever you want, drink. We ain't asking you to bring your honey, so you can, you know what I mean? You can come and just have a good time. We want you to eat, drink, and be merry. Anything else you do, I can't be responsible for. See, he coming to tell me more things. Cocktail reception at 6. Y'all take that how y'all want. And dinner at 7. This is why I'm letting y'all out early. Look at AI, letting us out early and all. Okay? If there are any other questions or queries, Mr. Flowers will be the one. You could come as you are, or you could go get snazzy up, but we will be there waiting on you. Have a good one.